Hi everyone, welcome to Eco Learning Classes. This is Professor Geeta Mahesh. Students, today we are going to discuss 2 marks question and answers. Now let us discuss, what do you mean by production possibility set? Production possibility set refers to collection of all possible combination of goods and services that can be produced with a given amount of resource and stock of technological knowledge. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative sacrificed in order to produce a particular good. So, the second best which you are going to sacrifice for the sake of first best, we call it as opportunity cost. It is also known as alternative cost or economic cost. What is production possibility frontier? So it is a curve or a frontier shows a graphical representation of all maximum output possible combination of two goods that can be produced with a given resource and technological knowledge, on the assumption that resources are fully and efficiently employed and technique of production does not change. What do you mean by inferior goods? Give example. The demand for goods which have inverse relation with a consumer's income called inferior goods. So demand for goods which has inverse relationship, that means demand for goods will decrease when income of a consumer increases. So there is an inverse relationship between demand for goods and consumers' income are called inferior goods. Good example, low quality food items, clothes, etc. What is monotonic preference? Monotonic preference refers to if and only if between two bundles the consumer prefers the bundle which has more of at least one of the good and no less of other good as compared to other bundles. We call it as monotonic preference. Take example, there are two bundles. In one bundle, 2 bananas and 4 mangoes, and another bundle you have 2 bananas and 6 mangoes. Which bundle we are going to choose? The second one. So, the bundle, you can see, if and only if between two bundles the consumer prefers the bundle which has more of at least one of the good and no less. See, banana in both the basket is same, but mango in one basket it is more and in another basket it is less, or in another combination. Okay, so this we call it as 2 bananas and 6 mango combination, we call it as monotonic preference. Monotonic preference you can say in other words or in other way also. Monotonic preference refers to a rational consumer always prefers that combination which gives him a higher level of satisfaction. So in between these two, consumer prefers the combination 2 bananas and 6 mangoes compared to 2 bananas and 4 mangoes. So this selection we call, or this preference we call it as monotonic preference. State the law of demand. So law of demand states that other things remaining constant, when price increases, quantity demand contracts. That means quantity demand decreases. When price decreases, quantity demand expands. That means increases. So here, other things being equal, a fall in price leads to expansion in demand, A rise in price leads to contraction in demand. This explains a negative relationship between quantity, demand and price. So it brings a relationship, inverse relationship or negative relationship. As price increases, quantity demand decreases, and when price decreases, quantity demand increases. What do you mean by price elasticity of demand? Price elasticity of demand refers to percentage change in demand for good divided by percentage change in its price. So you can see here, price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in quantity demand for a good divided by percentage change in the price of a good. This can be written, this is equals to delta Q divided by delta P into P divided by Q. What is isoquant? So it is a set of all possible combination of two inputs which yield same maximum possible level of output. So what is isoquant? Means it is a set of all possible combination of two inputs which yield a same maximum possible level of output. Give the meaning of concept of short run and long run. So short run means we are referring to the production period. Short run means here, in the short run, firms cannot vary all the inputs. The factors cannot be varied and therefore remain fixed in the short period. They cannot vary all the factors of production. So in the short run, they can vary only variable factors of production, and few factors remain as fixed because to change these factors they need a long period. Long run means all the factors of production can be varied. A firm, in order to produce different level of output in the long run, can vary all the inputs simultaneously. So there is no fixed factors of production or fixed input. What do you mean by opportunity cost? Give example. Opportunity cost means some activity is foregone for the second best activity. So you are giving up a second best activity for the sake of some activity. In other words, maximum benefit that you can get from other alternative activity, we call it as opportunity cost. Let us take an example. If you have a 1000 rupees and you decided to invest in your business. If you are not going to invest in your business, then you are going to deposit in the bank one where they will offer you 10% of rate of interest, or you can deposit in bank 2 where they will offer 5% of rate of interest. But you decide to invest the money in your family, means the second best opportunity you have is depositing with a bank which offers 10% of rate of interest. So the opportunity of investing in your business, what you have, we call it as, so we call it as opportunity cost of your business is the interest you have given up or foregone from the bank 1, that is 10%. Give the meaning of shutdown point. So here shutdown point is a point where SMC curve cuts ABC curve at a minimum point. That means let us take, this is a ABC curve of a firm. So SMC curve cuts ABC at its minimum. This we call it as shutdown point. In the long run also, LRAC, LRAC identify the minimum point. So LRMC cuts LRAC at its minimum. So see, LRMC cuts LRAC at its minimum. This point we call it as shutdown point. shutdown point. Give the meaning of price elasticity of supply and write its formula. So, price elasticity of supply refers to responsiveness of quantities supplied due to changes in the price of the good, or you can consider the percentage change in quantity supply of a good divided by percentage change in the price of a product. So, what is the formula for this? You can see here delta Q divided by Q into P divided by delta P, or you can rewrite this as delta Q divided by delta P into P divided by Q. Define equilibrium price and quantity. Equilibrium price means the price at which equilibrium is reached called equilibrium price, and at equilibrium price the quantity brought and sold, we call it as equilibrium quantity. How price is determined when fixed number of firms exist in the perfect competition. So, when a fixed number of firms exist in perfect competition, price is determined by intersection of demand and supply. So, intersection of demand and supply will determine the price of the product under perfect competition. And if there is any imbalance in equilibrium price, then invisible hand will correct by guiding producers and consumers towards equilibrium. What is marginal revenue product of a labor? So, it is a product of marginal revenue and marginal productivity. Marginal revenue and marginal productivity. So, you can see additional benefit is equal to marginal revenue into marginal product. We call it as marginal revenue product of a labor. How wage is determined in the labor market? So, wage is determined by intersection of demand for labor and supply of labor. So, wage rate is determined at the intersection of demand and supply curve of labor. Demand for and supply of labor balance in the labor market. Household sector will supply labor, and who will give demand for labor means it comes from firms. State the meaning of average revenue and marginal revenue. Average revenue refers to revenue received per unit of commodity sold. We call it as average revenue. Then what is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is a revenue received by a firm by an additional unit of commodity. By selling additional unit of commodity, whatever the revenue we receive, we call it as marginal revenue. Write the meaning of monopolistic competition and give an example. Monopolistic competition is a type of imperfect competition in which there are large number of small sellers selling a differentiated product or heterogeneous product with a free entry and exit. Good examples are soap, shampoos, toothpaste, biscuits, etc. Who are macroeconomic decision makers? So, macroeconomic policies are pursued by state itself or statutory bodies like RBI, Cbse, similar institutions. They must go beyond economic objectives and try to direct development of economic resources for achieving public welfare. Write the equation of GDP MP and GDP FC. GDP MP equals C plus I plus G plus X minus M. GDP FC, GDP MP minus net indirect taxes. How does bank rate influence money supply? Bank rate can influence money supply by changing bank rate. What is bank rate? It is the rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks without securities. By increasing bank rate, supply of money decreases, a fall in bank rate increases the money supply. So, when bank rate decreases, money supply or supply of money increases. When bank rate increases, supply of money decreases. What role of RBI is known as lender of last resort? RBI provides a financial assistance to commercial banks like giving credit, discounting bills or giving advances, etc. during their financial crisis. When banks have a financial crisis or when banks are in financial crisis, RBI gives loans and advances. So, helps the banks as a lender of last resort. Write the meaning of excess demand and deficit demand. Excess demand situation is one when equilibrium level of output is more than full employment level. This is because demand is more than the level of output produced at a full employment level. So, in that situation, it leads to inflation. Inflation means prices will start increasing. What is deficit demand? Deficit demand means here equilibrium level of output is less than the full employment level, because the fact that demand is low to employ all the factors of production. So, this leads to deflation. Deflation means this leads to fall in prices. Give the meaning of investment multiplier and write its formula. It is a ratio of total increment in equilibrium level of final goods output to initial increment in autonomous expenditure is called as investment multiplier. That means initial increase in investment leads to many times increase in income is known as investment multiplier. The formula for investment multiplier, you can use delta y divided by delta A or 1 divided by 1 minus C. C stands for a marginal propensity to consume, or 1 divided by S, that is marginal propensity to save. Give the meaning of paradox of thrift. So, it refers to, or paradox of thrift means, if all the people of the economy increases the proportion of income they save, the total value of savings in the economy will not increase. It will decline or it may remain constant or same. What are the factors which causes change in aggregate demand? The factors are consumption and investment. Who are free riders? Why they are called so? Free riders refers to non-paying users of public goods. These users are called free riders. These users do not pay. They do not pay for the public good. It is difficult to collect the fees for the use of public goods. These consumers do not voluntarily pay for what they can get for free. Why public goods must be provided by government? Government should provide certain goods and services because the benefits of public goods are available to all and are not only restricted a particular consumer. In the case of private goods, if consumers does not pay, can be excluded from enjoying the benefits. So, in case of public goods, there is no chance. For this purpose, government has to provide public goods. Next topic, practical oriented questions. Dear students, if you like, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.